Viewers and listeners, we are now joined by the author of Still Smiling. Still Smiling is a memoir by Grenadian reporter Sorana Mitchell. The book recounts traumatic experiences from childhood to present day. It includes her father's untimely death in Grenada, sexual abuse on summer trips to Canada, immigration to the United States of America, mental illness, and her subsequent return to her homeland. And we're now happy to be joined by the author herself, Sorana Mitchell, who is, in fact, making her first appearance on the Bubb Report. Sorana, welcome to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bubb, and how are you?
I'm doing very well. We have two interviewers here, two reporters here, and I have the honor of interviewing a reporter who we probably crossed paths at the GBN, but those were very. It might have been brief, maybe.
Maybe I don't think so. I don't think we crossed paths.
I don't think I ever
remember you. I remember you way back at CC. I remember you then.
Yes,
I remember you then, and it always makes me
I was
smile.
A loud-mouthed brat there.
You always made me laugh back then, and I must say it always makes me smile to say Dr. Bubb because you worked for it. Congratulations.
Yes. Absolutely. I really appreciate that. Thank you so very much. Yes, perhaps I was in my first year at CC when you were in your second year.
Yes.
So I do remember those days under the tree. I don't know if that tree still exists. Does it? I don't know. I haven't been there.
I don't think so. I recall you more in the library, coming to sit among my friends and our group, and you telling us your stories and so on, and we would all be laughing.
I do remember those days. I do remember those days in the discussion room at the library there. Now, Sorana, you're here to discuss your memoir. Now, not many people like writing about themselves. In fact, I find writing about oneself one of the most challenging things that one can do. Not many people like to do that. What mustered up the courage in you? What was the impetus for you to really put pen to paper in respect of some very deeply personal experiences that you had in your life?
Exactly that. I had some very deep experiences, and because of those experiences, I wanted to share, because other people's sharing helped me get through a lot. And I felt that I had something to say, something to share, in the hope that it will help someone. Again, as you said, it's hard, because one of the reasons for a while I wanted to do this, but as you said, it's hard to write about oneself, one. Two, you think about the other people that it might impact. You know, my whole thing was not to hurt anybody, so that's why I stayed away from it. And but in the end, wanting to help someone else won, because, and in so doing, releasing that book, it opened up for me a door to other people's lives. People felt somewhat like a kinship, something to me, that they can just come and just talk to me about things, and I would listen. That used to happen before. Mind you, one example would, when I was in the US, I would go to Starbucks with a book to read and buy a coffee, and there I would be sitting, and someone would come, nice weather we're having, right? And then I would hear their whole life story. So that, but it started happening more and more with the book, because people would tell me things I didn't expect to hear, traumas that they're still dealing with, family issues, and stuff like that. So it has opened up a path for people to share.
Now, whenever we think of childhood days, you heard the Mighty Sparrow has this song that says, "School days are happy, happy, happy days." whenever we paint a picture of growing up in the Caribbean as children, it is framed as extremely idyllic, as the most ideal environment to grow up in. But that was not
Mm,
necessarily your experience, was it?
nope,
And of course, not to give
not
away anything
necessarily.
from the book, but
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I was hit hard at 9 years old with my father's passing, um, which was very traumatic for myself and the rest of my family. And the consequences under which we were told that he passed. I mean, we did not have an autopsy, we did not have any of those things involved, but the information that was shared with us um, caused a lot of pain and sorrow in our family. And thereafter, it affected my whole family. My the close knit family that I had disappeared. Everybody just left. And myself being the youngest, I was left to my own demises. You hear what I say? And because
not
if
devices,
you read the book,
demises.
you
I
would,
like that.
yeah. If when you read the book, you would see that growing up, it was wonderful with my father, especially. My father and I would dance together. He made me feel, and I talk about myself, but he was like that with all my siblings. They all have this loving story to tell about my father. He was really a wonderful person, and even people who were not in our family, he would help, he would share, he would give. That sort of person he was. And so, with his passing, he's the glue that kept us together. Everyone, it unraveled to us, you know? And and then later on, I was exposed to sexual abuse on trips to Canada. And, all these things really affected the person I was. But I hid a lot of things by smiling. That's why I named the book Still Smiling, because I used to be laughing a
Mhm.
lot, as you would remember in times this year. I'll be
Yes.
laughing,
Hmm.
laughing, laughing. But sometimes, many a times, I'd be crying inside because of pain.
Hmm.
But now
Hmm.
I can laugh freely. Although
Hmm.
some people have been telling me to smile some more when I'm walking in St. George's. We have this thing about us in St. George's. If you see somebody serious, put a smile on your face. I've been getting that a lot recently.
Hmm. So what I hear you saying is that smile masked a lot of that pain and trauma that you were experiencing. And sometimes
Yes.
people see a smile and they think, "Oh, that person must be fine." Or there is the cursory greeting that obtains in Grenada where somebody say, "Oh, hi, how you doing?" And you say, "You're fine." Yeah, I'm well. I'm blessed. Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
but
Uh
that is sort of a dubious characterization.
yes. Yes. I hid behind the smile, but now when I smile, there's freedom and there's lightness and there is joy, you know? And I mean, if you see me walking around serious, it's not because I'm unhappy or whatever. I might be focusing on something, trying to figure something out. So I'm very focused. I'm always told I look like a judge because I'm so serious. But before that, the smiling masked a lot of pain, and it took years of working on myself. And it's, as you would know, it's a process. It took years of working on myself to get to where I am right now, because while living in the US, after my daughter was born, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And that threw me. I mean, another something else that unraveled me, you know. So there I was. Growing up, I had to deal with my father's passing, then sexual abuse. Then in my mid 20s, I'm hit with mental illness. So it's like bam, bam, bam. How do you get out of this one, Sarana? How do you smile in this? And it was hard
Mhm.
because no one understood what was happening, myself included at times. But because of my background as a reporter, research. You
Yeah.
understand? The books,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I did. I pounded the books. Anything I could read that would help me, I would read it. If it looks strange, I would see, there's this scripture that says, you go before me always or whatever. So I would read it. If it didn't have anything for me, I would release it.
Mm-hmm.
But I kept researching and looking for ways and means to help myself so that because I learned very early on with the diagnosis that even though you have medication, even though you have a therapist, the junk of the majority of the work is dependent on you, the patient. And that is sometimes the hardest pill to swallow because you would want someone to just take it away, remove it,
Mm-hmm.
but the work comes from you. You have to do that work, that positive thinking, that focusing, that remembering to take the medication, to take care of yourself, that sort of thing. All those things, it's work. And you have to decide to do that work because the doctor can't do it for you. The therapist or whoever else wouldn't do it for you. You have to do it. So, Dr. Bubb, it was a lot of work. It continues to be a lot of hard work. But I rather smile with joy and happiness, not a mask,
Mm-hmm.
to in my life. So that's
Yeah.
why I do the hard work.
Mm-hmm. And,
Mhm.
and 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 you have essentially being very vulnerable in this because, of course, our society, people in our society are not usually open about instances of sexual trauma that they experience. And
Mhm.
certainly mental health is still a major taboo in our society. In fact, it is akin to perhaps having some manner of curse or demonic possession. I'm
Possession.
sure perhaps
Mhm.
you heard that you just pray that stuff away. So
Yeah, I was told all of that,
how
brother.
yeah how did you how did you manage to deal with perhaps the reaction that people elicited when you brought those things up?
Um, I came to a personal realization and acceptance of myself. That's the first and most important thing. You have to accept your situation. You have to accept yourself. If you don't, then you'll be grappling with a lot of things because everyone would want to tell you how to live your life. At the moment I accepted that this was not something that was done to me like Ovia or voodoo or whatever. I said, I am staying on the route of science. I am not getting myself to delve into this thing. Staying with science. These people have spent years trying to understand these things. If they're telling me this is what is happening, I'm listening to my body, I'm studying myself as much as they are telling me things, and as much as I'm researching and reading books. So as a result, I equipped myself with what I needed to help myself. You understand? Um, yes, there are people who still laugh at me. There are people who, as we say, shoo shoo behind my back. There was one person who shocked me
we
because
we
I
we
thought,
would we would not be Grenadian if we didn't shoo shoo now. And I
because
say that in jest, but that's just the reality.
I mean, this happened to me on two occasions. On by two persons I thought who were more evolved. One of them said, "Oh, is she crazy?" The other one set me up so whereby the one of her goons said to me, "Aren't you crazy?" And in front of several people, I guess they were looking for maybe me to react in a maybe violent way or something like that. I simply took the opportunity, whether they were willing to listen and to learn or whatever, to explain to them, yes, I have been diagnosed with a mental illness, and I live with it. I take medication and I take care of myself, and that's it.
Mhm. Mhm. And it's like any other illness, it's like any other non-communicable disease. It's like diabetes. You take your medication for your diabetic complications. You take your medication for a headache. And of course, speaking of mental health, you also are part of the organization, the Friends of the Mentally Ill. Did those
Yes,
experiences that you recount in the book really inspired you to get involved in being
yes,
an advocate for the mentally ill in Grenada?
yes. Uh, Unfortunate or maybe fortunate for me, I had a relapse 2 years ago, which sent me to Mount Gay Mental Hospital.
Hmm.
And although I was in a deteriorated state, I was able to take in the area, the space, the place where people like myself are lumped because we are not seen as, for want of a different terminology, human beings. And when I came through and I said, no, I will do everything I can um, to help in whatever way I can. I knew Dr. Spencer. I was involved, off and on before, but I got spirit to get more involved
Hmm.
in the work of the Friends of the Mentally Ill,
Hmm.
because there is so much work that needs to be done. It has a lot to do with education. It has a lot to do with people who live with a mental illness to not be afraid, not feel they have to hide and be ashamed of themselves, um, as well as, afraid that people are going to mock them. But you can mock me, you can make fun of me. I really don't care. Just roll off of my shoulder. I don't care. I don't care.
Hmm.
You're
Hmm.
not
Hmm.
responsible for the air I breathe, so I don't
Hmm.
care. I'm
Yeah.
usually in my own world anyway.
Yeah. Of course, with your music, which you are a musician, and your,
Yes.
your your daughter seems to have also inherited that too, the singing.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
but we always talk about in the context of Grenada, it's taking a village. Do you feel as if you, during the course of your life, receive support outside of that immediate familial support? You talk about your dad, that the village, whatever village that you grew up in, was supportive, whether that is the community, whether that's school, whether that's work
Um,
institutions, friends.
I at the extent I would talk about church because I was very much
Okay.
involved in church, brought up
Hmm.
Roman Catholic. Um, I have since will admit to be a backsliding, if you use that term with Catholics. I don't attend church, but that's where I was brought up, and that's the faith that I understand and know.
Hmm.
Um, but at the same time, in church, I was given an opportunity, my first opportunity, not well, I would read at home and stuff like that, but the chance to start standing up and read, the discovered my ability to read very well in church, in the Willis Catholic Church. And
Hmm.
as a child, from 5, 6, I'll be reading prayers. Before I was communed, I was reading the first and second readings in church. Anything they had in the parish which belonged to Willis, Vendom, Boca, Willis, I would be representing Willis. So I was always given the opportunity in church. So in that sense, I would say yes, the village helped me because that was the community I knew and trusted and belonged. But elsewhere in school, I think I used to dream a lot in school. And later on, when I got diagnosed with bipolar, I understood where a lot of it came. I saw I saw it. Its beginning in my teenage years. I saw where it began because, one has to, if one really wants to help oneself, one has to understand oneself and you have to go back because that's one of the things I did. And in going back, that's why I was given, I got the courage to write, to tell a story. And going back, I could see where certain things started, my mind just going off on its own and it's that sort of thing. And just, I'm not focused. And I would wonder what's happening with me, but I had no one to tell or understood what was happening. And I mastered a lot of things. I mean, I think I was able to exist in school under the radar for as long as I could. I mean, at times I would wonder my grades could be better than this, but I'm just like, I understand something today and then afterwards I forget it tomorrow. So the focus was not there. So I was able to go back and see a lot of things in my past that helped me to understand, where the culmination of the diagnosis and understand what was happening to me and so on. But other than that, yeah, I think the village for me would have consisted mainly of church. Other than that, I did not have much. I didn't have much to do with anything else in the village. That the village, the physical village I grew up in, as I would always say, I just slept there. I went to school. I slept. I went to church there. I just went to school. I hang out with my friends. Go home, sleep, go again. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And two final questions. The first one has to do with your immigrant experience. Of course, in the text you talk about that immigrant journey. Again, that's another truism that we have in our culture, that you go away, and when you go away, it's this idyllic, wonderful experience, and when you get back to Grenada, they say, oh, you look so refined, and you get nice, you're talking in style, whatever else is said, right?
And many of them put on the show, right?
Right. You come to America, you come to Brooklyn for 2 weeks, and then you're sounding as though you were here for 10 years, right?
Oh yeah. So my journey to the US was in 2002. And going back in my mind, sitting down and doing everything, I was like, girl, you understand world news and everything, and world history, and you understand things. What on earth got you to leave your country in 2002 to go to the US right after 9/11? The world had changed. Why did you do this? I couldn't find an answer because I was just so it was already happening. The illness was already taking its toll on me. And I was under a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, and I just wanted to get away. But one thing one has to understand is that you cannot run from yourself. You will always be there. So all this unsettledness that was going on up here was me in the US anyway. And I was in the US. I stayed undocumented for close to 15 years. I worked as a cleaner, I took care of the elderly. Those are the two main tasks that I did. And it was hard. It was tough because being diagnosed, because I didn't mind doing anything because I don't care. I clean, I do whatever I have to do. But with the mental illness coming with that factor, that's when it became hard. And especially the diagnosis after my daughter was born. Oh my gosh, my life was hard because I had no one to lean on. I had nowhere to turn. And I have a daughter to take care of. I have this diagnosis. No one wants anything to do with me. No one understands. it's just me, myself, and I, and this child, you know. And it was, if tough is a word, well, I don't know right now. I can't think of a tougher word than tough. It was really, 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 really tough. It was tasking physically, it was tasking emotionally, tasking mentally, because there I was trying to put myself back together after having this diagnosis and understanding how my head is working, and I have to deal with taking care of a young child on my own, basically. So I had to realize that if I have to take care of her, I have to be able to take care of myself. So, and I had to trying to find a balance, which was tough. And in the process of trying to find a balance, then I found this desire to sing, which I thought was really crazy. I was like, is this bipolar? You know, that's what I said to myself. I mean, wanted to sing, ask me to speak, ask me to talk, don't ask me to go sing or stand up in front of people and sing. No, I'm not doing this. But every
Were
time
you ever in the choir at the convent? Were you?
No. I listen, I loved singing, but I would not go and sing on a stage because I would tear people who sing apart. You heard Simon on American Idol and whatever else? We are kids. We were good friends. So I would not go outside on the stage and sing because I still do it because whenever I record myself, I tear everything apart. Okay? I look for everything, I just tear it apart. And there I was wanting to sing. So that rattled me. And I met some wonderful people who helped to train me, work with me. They helped me with my whole life, basically, because I needed help. And when you need help and you put it out to the universe, you put it out to God, as we've been taught to call the universe, he answers. And he said these people that I didn't know, they didn't know me, but you know, they opened up their arms to me and they held my hand and helped me along the way in so many ways. They helped me, they helped to train me to sing. They helped me in every aspect of my life. You understand? And so that's why I learned a long time ago that once you've been blessed, you pass the blessing on. And that's why I live my life the way I live. If I could help someone, I help them. I did it before, and I do it more now than ever because I know what it's like to do not have. I know what it's like to be without money, be without not knowing where you're going to live, where you're going to sleep, where you're going to take care of your daughter, all those things. I know what it's like. Yeah.
And it's important to pay it forward. I think that is such a critical element there. Now, in respect of where we can obtain copies of your book, I intend to purchase mine on Amazon. So that's where I'll be getting mine. But where can potential readers get a copy of your book?
That's the main place you can get it, on Amazon in Kindle and paperback version. I have some copies with me, but it would be easier to get it on Kindle, the Kindle version, and the paperback version from Amazon. What the copies I have with me are 40 EC. Yeah, but if you want to if you're in the US or Canada or wherever, and you would like to purchase, it's on Amazon in Kindle and paperback version. And absolutely. I must say thank you, Mr. Bubb, for this opportunity. And I have, been watching your shows and I'm very, 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 very so proud of you.
Thank you so very much. It means a lot. I'm humbled. I'm really humbled.
Yes, keep up the good work. Keep up the good work.
Yes, absolutely. I say it's not about me, but it's about highlighting and illuminating the stories of our people. And Excellent. We have to be the change that we want to see. Many people critique the media in Grenada, and I would not be one of those. I'm one of those people who, if I critique something, then I want to be able to do something to change the material condition of that thing. So that's
Okay.
just my approach.
Okay.
Any final words any final words from you?
If I must say, I would say love. Love
Mhm.
yourself, love your family, and but most of all, love yourself, because in so doing, you're going to take care of how you take care of you and how you allow people to treat you. Because coming back to Grenada, if I may add, I had some issues there and I allowed certain things to get away where I worked and so on. And looking back now, I'm like, hmm, it's because I was questioning a lot of things about myself and allowed a lot of things
Mhm.
to slip through. But I
Mhm.
must say to just love, to show love. It doesn't matter who the person is, if you do not accept their lifestyle or whatever. Many of us, we live in this community, in this society where Christianity is preached, and the center of I ask you to show love.
Mhm.
Okay.
Sorana, on that note, Beckett sang a song, Love is the Answer. Love is the only answer. I remember
Yep.
that. You probably know that
Hmm.
song as well. But on that
Yes.
note, thank you so much for appearing on the Bubb Report this week.
Thank you for having me. Blessings.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Viewers and listeners, Sorana Mitchell, published author. In fact, she just recently published her memoir. The title of the memoir is Still Smiling. And of course, what does the memoir do? It recounts traumatic experiences from childhood to present day. It includes her father's ultimate, untimely death in Grenada, sexual abuse on summer trips to Canada, immigration to the United States of America, mental illness, and her subsequent return to her homeland of Grenada.